Good morning, good afternoon, good night, and thank you guys for tuning in to today's live Instagram interview with the founders of the company Center In, Nesha and TK. I'm so excited to get to speak to these ladies and pick their brain and get to know more about their company, and just love the fact of supporting Black-owned businesses and supporting women. So I'm excited to hear everything that is being discussed tonight. So just waiting for them to join in. But I hope everyone on here, you guys had a great weekend and you're leading into a great week. Here they are. Perfect. So I'm going to get them to hop in, and hopefully our sound and everything is tip-top.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yay.
Oh my gosh.
That is okay. So just for the sake of recording, I'd just like to do the intros again, if that is okay with you guys. So
yeah.
If you guys don't mind, just introducing yourself to everyone again and just letting them know separately who you are, and then we'll get into more of the brand Center In.
Okay. My name is TK Trinidad. I was born in Canada, West Indian raised, Guyanese Trinidadian. I came to the U.S. on a track scholarship and in the TV industry, and now I'm an entrepreneur and one half of Center In Skincare and Candles.
And my name is Nesha Blair. I am Jamaican, born and raised. I also grew up in Florida and moved here when I was about 18 to LA.
And yes, I'm an esthetician by trade, and
Yes. So I'm so excited to meet you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. It did it again?
Oh, it's me. It's me. Hold on. Anytime somebody calls, oh my God, my life is like, nobody calls me and now everybody wants to call me now.
Put it on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, do not disturb us.
Oh, how do you do that? I've never done it.
Up.
Hold on, I'm gonna find the button.
Scroll to the next slide. Do not disturb.
Wait, is it on or off? Okay. Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay.
Let's try this again. Oh yes, now I can hear you too. Oh my gosh.
Are you able
Today-
to hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Great.
Honestly, it happens to me too. Sometimes my phone will be like somewhat quiet, and then all of a sudden when I'm like in a meeting or something, that's when everyone all of a sudden
Everyone wants to call. I'm like, really?
And your guys, it's rush hour now for you guys, right? Where you are.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
I mean, it's
makes
rush hour.
sense. Everyone's just leaving work and they're like, hey. Versus
Yeah, exactly.
almost, yeah, it's
Like
like
9:30?
9:45 here. So
Yeah.
yes. So what motivated you guys to start Center In?
So what happened was probably maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, like I've always kind of like I wanted to develop a second stream of income, and I was kind of thinking of different ways on how to do that. And it didn't have to require me to like physically be there. Like, you know, I used to run track and I was on TV. I just didn't want to, like, you know, something where it could be a little bit more passive. And so what happened was Nesha and I both worked at TMZ together, and Nesha had decided to just leave and go to Europe because that's just what she does. And so when she came back, like we became closer friends, and I realized that she's like
family already.
Right?
And then like I realized that she's like a creative, so she was just creating candles just because. And I'm like, so like you're not gonna like sell it or anything like that? And so backstory is my dad's like been an entrepreneur all my life, so I'm like, oh my God, this is like perfect. You know, you could create the candles and I'll help you sell them. So, you know, first she didn't want to do it, and then we made our first batch of 25 candles,
25.
and then we sold them all out. So then that's when she kind of hopped on board and it's like, okay, like we can do that. Then we did the candles, and then we added more products. It took us about 2.5, 3 months to finally get like the cocoa butter recipe together. So it was very trying, but it's like, you know, we complement each other. So she has more the patient type, will take the time to kind of, get the products right. Plus, it's very natural, so she knows which products will go together.
Right.
And me, I do the sales, the marketing. I'm like the person who like does the orders, the shipment, all that other stuff.
Yin and yang. I love that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So in terms of, you were describing earlier, but we'll speak about it again because I love that topic of centering in, and that being kind of like the values and the foundation of what like this company was based on. As I was telling you guys, we do have a limited series called Mask On, which stands for Motivate, Aspire, Share Keys. And it was just kind of my way of trying to help motivate people in terms of self-care. And I love to do face masks and things like that because with everything that we do, like working in the media, etc., you guys know you have to find time to give to yourself. And like, I love the messaging and the story behind your guys' product. Why was it so important for you guys to choose natural products? I know it's like a trendy thing these days, but why was it important to you guys to like stay true to that?
Well, I know for myself, and when TK and I both started the company, we were both fully vegan at the time. And so we wanted to create something that made us feel, because we felt so great on the inside, we really wanted something to go on our skin and like, things that absorb. Like we have so many chemicals around us all day, every day. And being an esthetician, like I know we don't think about our skin as our biggest organ, but it is. And we absorb so much pollution, so much, it's just really crazy, like how many just toxins are in and around us. And we wanted to create something that was really good for your skin. It goes in and it's amazing. You know what I mean? It makes you feel good on the outside.
Flawless.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, I'm kind of wearing makeup.
I know.
I'm not putting on makeup. Yeah. But it's just it's one of those things where like you spend that little bit of extra money to you feel amazing. Like hopefully you can afford it, but it's like there's a difference of buying, like even if you just take store products. You buy like no knock to Queen Eileen, but you can buy that for like $3.99, and there's definitely a difference. And then you get something that's a little bit more luxurious, and it's actually like the actual product that you feel better, like you feel like you can conquer the world. So that was kind of the thing. You want the smells and the product to just feel like amazing and to inspire you to kind of do and feel great.
And I love the fact that you guys like take the time to make that like the messaging or branding, as you or some people would say, because not only are you guys doing that, but I believe that you mean it. You know what I mean? In a time right now where we never expected that we'd be living through a pandemic, through something called COVID. And I'm seeing so many more women and women of color turning to vegan and natural products because we're starting to think about our immune systems more. We're starting to think about these conversations that they're speaking about 5G and things like that. And, we're thinking about our daily lives, like you said, and our body being one of our largest organs and getting all those toxins. So I want to reiterate the point for those of you watching now or later. She is professional. She did go to school. She knows what she is. Nesha knows what she's talking about, and TK is going to be by. Okay?
Yeah, because I'll be throwing stuff. I was like, well, can we use that? She's like, no, we can't use it because of this. And I'm just like, okay. Like, like she's
like
definitely doing that.
Like for you guys, do you feel like you clash a lot? Because people like to, like, for example, my cousin, she hosts a Monday night talk show. And the topic actually tonight is black businesses and what people, the critique or the extra harsh critique I feel like black businesses will get because of maybe their services, customer service, things like that. So what is maybe some of the backlash or things that you guys think of when it comes to your business and not falling under like that stigma of not being on par with other companies?
Well, I think what's definitely great for both of us is coming from the entertainment industry. So and coming from like TMZ is not no knock to like smaller like TV or like TV shows or whatever, but TMZ is it's run like a tightly oiled ship. Like that show that you see, it took us what, 2 hours, 3 hours to film, but they condensed it into like 22 minutes, 30 minutes. So, and you know, we see the stories go out, stuff like that. And prior to that, I worked for iHeartRadio, and radio is a very even tighter ship because commercials have to be played at that time, else you get penalized. So like just taking that aspect of it and really doing it once, like doing the research and doing it once. So my dad, prior to being a businessman, he was a tailor for 30 plus years, and he always taught me that you want to measure twice and cut once. So when we're looking at like the graphics, the logo, everything else, you know, if I'm not, you know, good at something and Nesha's not good at something, then we're going to hire somebody to do it. And if we can't hire somebody to do it at this particular moment, then we're going to make sure that we sell enough cocoa butter to hire somebody to do it. Right. So, and, you know, it's also being patient, meaning that, you know, we have so many other things that we want to add to, you know, the list of products. But it's like, again, we want to make sure that it's all natural. We want to make sure that, you know, what we send out that you're going to love and you're going to keep reordering. Not, you know, it's helpful to us, but we want you to love that product. Right. So, you know, that it's kind of the combination of that. And like I said before, we're both the yin and yang of it. So it definitely works. Yeah.
So Nesha, I know there's like certain basic products that I'm guessing people would think will go into shea butter or cocoa butters or the scrubs and things, or the candles, even the scents that you come up with. But what really like inspires you to put certain ingredients together besides the fact of it being natural and vegan?
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
Well, I guess like, for example, are you attracted to scents? Like what makes you choose certain ingredients to incorporate into your guys' product?
I choose ingredients based off of what I feel is going to really affect your skin. There's a lot of products out there that, you know, they claim to do a lot of things, but they really don't. They really don't. And so everything that we choose, and I like simplicity. So if I'm looking down a list of products and I get to like the 6 title that I don't know, I have to look up how to even pronounce it. I don't want it on my skin. Right. And that's it. Point blank period. Yeah.
The scents are you know, we go by different, like we kind of, that's a together process. Right. So we go by, you know, what works for us, and then we test it out. So what happens is like we might create, you know, we started off with 2 or 3 different candles, and we would just give out samples and see how that goes. And same thing with the cocoa butter. So even adding new scents, we would create it, give it out samples and see how people like it. And then, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we kind of retool it. You know, we just had to retool like our whole lavender scent, because it's like, you know, it sounded good, but then when we tested it, it didn't quite hit. So we had to, it kind of took us like a couple months, I think about 2 months to kind of really perfect it and add another scent to it. So it's just kind of like it's definitely a lot of trial and error, but, you know, definitely thankful and shout out to like the folks that have been buying our stuff, because they'll still buy it even though it's like a tester, which has been great too. But yeah, we kind of test those scents together and kind of see what works.
That's a great formula, and you mentioned so many key things that we will have to pedal back on. Like, for example, the fact of you saying you use tester products. Do you find that that's something that is worth it in your line of business? Because I know, you know, and sometimes it's like, oh, putting out all these testers, it ends up costing you more in the long run, or does it save you guys money? Like, what is that?
No, I mean, like, that's how I learn about stuff. It's like people give me testers and I'll try it. Like I get testers all the time and I try it. Sometimes they give me big bottles, which is probably not the best idea, but I'll try it. And if I love it, then I'm going to order it. So there have been times where I've given out testers. There's also been times where I'll send out, like, you know, okay, it's your birthday, here you go. And they might not buy the product, but for, you know, every 10 that I give out, I might get 2 or 3 people who are like, that's amazing, let me order it. So it's definitely worth it, because, like, you know, the cocoa butter and lotion and, you know, the skincare practice is something like onto yourself. Like nobody can tell you. I mean, you know, some people can tell you what to do, but if you feel it on your skin, then that's definitely gonna, you know, change your perspective. Opposed to me saying, here's the cocoa butter, here's the website, pick something. You know, so it's definitely, you know, we try to hit all the senses. So like, you know, when we have a new line or whatever, I'm out there giving cocoa butter to everyone. Right. Like we got T-shirt samples, and I was giving the guy cocoa butter and cards and stuff like that. So like, it's just, I love free samples. So I think it's definitely worth it.
Love free samples?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? And before COVID, I'd be all about the free samples, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Now we have to be cautious of the ones we take, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. With COVID, we use our masks, we use our gloves when we're packaging the products and stuff like that. And even delivering, like if I deliver to somebody's house, I'm leaving it on their doorstep. So I'm definitely we're definitely very mindful of that, because you know, when you think of, you know, for somebody's cooking your food and there's like a drop off service, whatever, you're hoping that like their cat's not on the table. You know what I'm saying? So I want the same feeling. Like when you look at us, we're not like, you know, there's no beads of sweat dropping anywhere in any of that stuff. Everything is very clean, and we just added tops on the stuff too, so it's sealed. Once it's sealed, it's done. So, you know, we're definitely taking the extra precaution to make everybody who's buying our product feel like, you know, it's safe.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's thank you for bringing that up, because that is exactly what I was leading into, because now a lot of businesses, maybe not some, have had to adjust their business practices or how they maneuver due to COVID or people's concerns around that. So I'm assuming that you guys had this business going long before COVID had started. So I know you mentioned putting on the tops and you guys have a clean environment, etc. But would there be anything else that you think people would maybe think of that you guys are mindful of in terms of operation and getting people's product out to them?
Yeah, so we definitely wait, repeat the question, because I might
was there anything else that you guys feel like would be also added to that list of extra precautions you guys take in terms of making sure that your customers know it's a safe product, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, like Nesha was saying, well, I mean, you can answer the question as far as the ingredients and stuff like that, but
yes, I mean, I take precaution just because of my background. So for us, that was never something that we didn't even think about until now. Like we've always worn gloves. Like I always, you know, did everything like above board, just because I know like sanitation is our number one thing. The sanitation, I'm constantly, you know, as an esthetician, I'm constantly sanitizing, I'm constantly disinfecting. So things like that, it wasn't even like, we didn't even click in like, oh yeah, we're doing this a little different. Like it's just what we've always done. Yeah. We added the protective seal, and that's just to ensure that everybody knows that it is above board. Yeah. Like we are taking as much precaution as we can, for sure.
Yeah.
Love that. So what is like your guys' vision? I mean, you have a great roster of products so far. And I know sometimes some entrepreneurs will say adding too many products that will like saturate the brand, or add more and more and more, and just whatever sells, sell. So how do you guys gauge that? And what is your vision for Center In? I know you mentioned like having more products, but the big picture, like I'd love to, let's manifest it, you know? What does that look like for you guys?
Well, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, yes, I personally would love to add more products, but you know, Nesha's making the majority of the stuff on her own, so that's one thing. But it's also kind of gauging, you know, what people gravitate towards, and then trying something new. So for instance, one of our best sellers for our candles is Summer Love, and that was our very first candle, and people love that candle. And now we added the massage oil component to the candle. People are even loving it more. Actually, our candle sales went up this last month, like a crazy amount.
Right.
So, you know, we had Summer Love. Yeah, thank you. So we had 5 different candle options, and, you know, 3 of them weren't selling. So we took those 3 out, and then we added two other scents, and those are starting to like pick up. And it's the same thing with the cocoa butter. We created different scents for the cocoa butter, and our Negril, which is the vanilla mango, is our highest seller. So, you know, we took that and two other scents, and then we cut out the other 2. And then I don't think we might be adding 2 more, but we're kind of gauging it and seeing like how people are, you know,
Gravitating
gravitating towards
exactly.
it. And you know, it's one of those things there where we love adding new stuff, and I definitely want to like add new scents and stuff like that, but it also has to make sense for the bottom dollar as well. So it's like we can have a bunch of stuff on Nesha's shelf at her house because that's where it is, but there's only so much space that we have, and then we also don't want the product to sit on the shelf for too long as well. So we kind of play it by ear, and I'm always on a daily basis looking at the numbers as far as, you know, okay, this is the numbers of sales, but this is what is selling the most. Because even with our hair care products, we have a beard oil, beard shampoo, stuff like that. You know, we're adding to that section, but we're also seeing, you know, the trends. So, you know, we're kind of seeing what's working with that as well. So I ideally would love to add more products, but, you know, that's where the yin yang comes from, because Nesha's way more patient, and she'll like definitely drag her feet, where it's like, okay, we'll like pause and hold back. Yeah. So it works out.
And I love the fact that you guys listen to each other, right? And have that respect for each other as business partners. Very, very important, especially when one is gifted in one department and one is gifted in another. So, as you said, yin and yang, very beautiful. And congratulations to you guys again, because I just love, as corny as it sounds, but I just love to see us winning and coming up with new things and just setting the bar high. And that's a very key factor that you spoke about in terms of business and starting new businesses. A lot of times I find like I see a lot of birth of new businesses where they'll put up products, and I'm guilty of it too, where I've had to learn my lesson, where it's not selling or putting up the numbers as other products, and because of pride or ego or whatever the case is, you'll have the product just sitting there, not taking it down, and just reinventing and finding the things that click and listening to your audience, which is key. Like that is how you survive, right? So I love the fact that you guys are vulnerable to share that, because I myself, I remember prior to coronavirus coming, well, not prior to it coming, but hitting North America and Toronto, like where I am. And one of the products that I had launched was a newer version, or a high-tech version of a suitcase lock, you could say. And it had like a passcode version. You could do fingerprint. So you know how you'd always be, if you do lock your suitcase, like us Jamaicans do when we're going down our suitcases.
We have to.
It would be easy to just, it's easy to just put your finger, it'll plop open. It could, remember, just like your phone, literally, but the lock. And I guess I wasn't gauging the news right. I wasn't seeing how fast or rapidly, you know, there was that moment where all of us were just kind of looking at China and not really realizing, hey, like, it's you know, and it failed. And I'm okay to share that, because I had to learn that lesson. I had to realize it wasn't the right timing. It wasn't what my audience needed right now. And obviously no one is traveling right now. So it didn't work. So I totally understand and agree with what you guys could share regarding that. Now, in terms of growing the brand, I know you handle the branding and marketing aspect. What are the ways that you're okay with sharing that you used to help grow, besides, I guess because it is a skincare line. It's not quite like clothes or maybe other things that people are used to kind of buying online and trusting. So how do you kind of gain that trust from your audience, the ones that aren't in territory delivered?
Yeah. It has to do with networking. And this is like a thing that I definitely learned from my dad, where it's like, we'll go to different places and everybody would stop him. And it was so annoying to me, because like people, like we just never could go anywhere. So, but from him, I kind of really learned the art of networking, because, you know, even though everybody knew him, that everybody wasn't his friend. And not to say that everybody who knows me is not my friend, but it's just like, I stay in contact with people. And it's not in a disingenuous way, like, okay, you have to buy my product, but it's just like I genuinely want everybody to win in whatever you're doing. But it's also, you know, the journalist in me is also kind of nosy, like what are you doing? What are you up to? So, you know, I always kind of keep that contact, and that was definitely helpful in the initial launch of our company, because I think with any company, unless you're like, you know, you've done this before, or, you know, you have like a lot of money backing you, it's going to be friends and family. And that's where the quality of the product also works too, because if you give your friends and family a terrible product, then they're
They're
not
gonna
gonna, yeah, they're gonna tell you, or, yeah, or they'll not buy it,
Right.
you know, or they won't tell their friends.
Right.
So we kind of really get the ball snowball rolling by, like, I was just kind of giving it to people, and then I was also telling them that we were selling it, and we had the site. But you know, when we're looking at our numbers last year, the majority of our sales was just, you know, people we knew, and you know, we're just getting cash.
Right.
Now, when I was looking at the numbers, actually today on my drive here, it's kind of split now, where there's a lot of online sales and there's a lot of sales where people are like, okay, well, I know you, I'll cash app you, which I don't necessarily like anymore, but it is what it is. But it's just kind of one of those things where that was the initial part. And so then we hit our, to a point where we hit the people we knew, like Nesha's family bought all the products and stuff like that.
Thanksgiving, they got it all.
Exactly. So it's just one of those things where it's like, now we want to launch into people that we don't know.
Right.
So that's where, you know, Instagram and Facebook ads came in. That's where we, you know, and I don't want to say this in a malice way, but, you know, COVID for us was really great because it slowed everything down.
Yeah,
it slowed everything down where we could, like, I was like able to retool the site, because I did the site myself and I'm not nowhere near a website designer. So I hired somebody on Fiverr. Oh yeah. No, you should see the first thing.
Owner to another. You did a great job.
Well, it took a long
6 figures on there.
It took a long time, but I hired somebody from Fiverr and we collaborated and created like a brand new site that was very like more appealing to the eye. So I was looking at different aspects, and even our social media from like when we first started to now, you know, I'm looking at the times of when we drop stuff, and you know, I'm really big on like these sayings, because you know, you put a quote up there and it might not hit you, but you know, I know when I'm seeing quotes, it's like, man, they're really talking about my life right now. Like, how did they know that? So you know, the quotes are really helpful, and then you know, the pictures and the songs and stuff like that. So we're really getting people that we don't necessarily know, but then it's also like people who really love the product, they'll post, and then I'll repost that, and then their friends. So it's like we're really kind of extending it to that part, and then we're gonna look into, you know, publicity and marketing and, you know, magazines and stuff like that. But we really want to make sure that the product is very solid, and that our base of people who really love, like on my way here, there's a gentleman, he bought his 4th jar of cocoa butter. Like, he sent me the empty jar. He's like, I need to re-up. And he wanted it tomorrow. So it's just like, you know, we really want to make sure that the customers who have bought the product thus far are taken care of. So if there's any issues, meaning that, you know, with one of the biggest issues that we're dealing with now in the summer is the cocoa butter is like melting, right? And we're taking all
of it though.
Well, it's different because you get it whipped, and then when it melts, it kind of really decompresses it. It doesn't look as cute. And if you look at the picture, you want to get what you ordered.
True.
It's true. So yeah, so we don't necessarily need to resend you a product. Like, the cocoa butter is fine as it is, melted or not. But I feel like if I ordered something personally, I want it like that. So I'll drive out to people. You know, we'll reship stuff out to people. So we really want to take care of the people who've been taking care of us, because without them, you know, we wouldn't be able to, you know, buy labels. We wouldn't be able to pay, you know, the chick on Fiverr to do our website. We wouldn't be able to like do all these other stuff and expand like we have. So we're really grateful to our customers for that, because, you know, if you have one person buying, you know, our cocoa butter, that can only carry us so far, right? So now it's just been it's been one of those things where people are home at COVID, but we wanted to create a program. We want to create products that it's self-care, because there are a lot of people talking about mental illness. A lot of people are talking about depression, like, you know, all that stuff. And if you can just take a moment out of your day, you know, away from the kids, you know, provide they don't sneak into the bathroom, and you like the smell and the product, and it makes you feel good during this time. Like, you know, all you sometimes need is just that moment. And, you know, that's what we're trying to create.
So I'll ask you guys individually. Nesha, I'll ask you first. What does self-care mean to you?
What does
self-care mean to you?
Self-care.
Oh, self-care. Self-care means the most to me, honestly. I am a creature of habit. I like what I like, and that's it, you know? And for me, as she said, like my shower time, my moisturizing time, like I grew up like lathering myself in lotion, right? Like this, we Jamaican, like we know, like we lather, okay? So now for me to have like my own product that I can just lather, and when I get out and I'm all shiny and I look like just a nice piece of fried chicken. Like, it's amazing. Like, I love that. Self-care means that I'm shiny and
Like
I feel
chicken.
good, okay?
That's the best
Just,
self-care.
I mean, it's great. Like, I'm like,
when my mom used to
Christy and
send
my
me to school and your face would be shine in the morning when you get to
shiny. I
school.
love it. I love that shiny. It's amazing. Like, so that's my thing about
That should be the new tagline. Shine you up like fried chicken.
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So for yourself, TK, what does self-care mean to you?
My self-care is a little bit more like rigid. Meaning that I'm very like by the book. So I mean, like, I don't, my MO, like, you know, I don't just wake up on a Sunday morning. Like, I don't go to bed without a plan, which is, you know, depending on type of person you is bad or good thing, whatever. But, you know, it's really kind of getting back to that time where it's just like, I wake up and I'll go for, this is the ideal, like they used to, because I'm not doing that at the moment. But, you know, I'll wake up and I'll go for a run and, you know, do yoga. And then, you know, I'll take a shower. It's kind of like that whole process. And then really kind of taking care of yourself. And it's the same type of thing, because if you take care of yourself, you feel amazing, and therefore people are going to see the amazing in you. And, you know, whatever you're trying to attract, whether it's a man, whether it's, you know, business, whether it's a job or whatever, they're going to see that light in you. And so, you know, just honestly, this last 6 to 9 months is really kind of beating me up. So I'm really trying to get to that level where it's just like, you know, every day is a self-care day, no matter the little things that you do. And again, that's kind of why the products, you know, I'm absolutely, I wasn't really a big candle person, but now I have my lighter and I have my candle in my bathroom, and I light that thing every single day. And I find it just really kind of calms everything down for me. It slows everything down. So it's just kind of, that's the self-care, because, you know, you have people talk about self-care and it's like, this is what I do for self-care, and you're in this place. Right. But you could be trying to get to a certain place of your ideal or where you were before. And, you know, that's kind of, you know, where I'm at right now, because, you know, COVID was okay, but right before COVID, excuse my French, that really, you know, beat me up. And like, you know, I'm still trying to recover from that. So it's really, you know, self-care. And if I didn't do any of that, or if I didn't do, you know, even getting back to yoga or kind of getting in touch with, I was telling Nesha, we actually go for walks every Monday. Yeah. Like, and that loop brings like the memories of the time where I can run all 5K and not die. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of one of those things where just kind of getting to that level again, or some version of it. Right. And being, you know, feeling amazing and people seeing that.
I love that. So collectively, as a business now, a question that we ask everyone here at Downtown is, don't waste no time with negativity. What is the recent situation that, as a business, you felt like it was negative and you guys found a way to deal with it in a positive manner?
I think that nothing.
I love how both of you said, synchronized at the same time.
Just, with COVID, it brought more orders, and with more orders brought more supplies. But the problem is, with COVID, our suppliers weren't supplying. Right. So it got and it still is, like, I literally was telling Nesha as I walked in, is like, you know, our supplier for our body wash it's a back order by 2 weeks, and we have orders already for the body wash. So it's just kind of like the frustration, really frustrating. You know, either finding, like, again, it is one of those things that looking at it. So, you know, our original bottle company, which was like down the street, they didn't have a lot of supplies, and we could have just looked at it like, okay, well, they don't have supplies, so we're not going to sell this. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. So, like, I literally did a deep dive on bottle companies and stuff like that. We found one that, you know, is a backup, but now they've kind of become our main bottle company, because they send it in a timely manner, and they have three different factories all over the U.S. So it's just kind of like, we have to account for the timing of the shipping. We also account for the price of the shipping, because all our stuff that we were buying, the majority of it was local. Right. And a lot of the local businesses at one point were closed. Like, even our perfume guy we couldn't find, which was a nightmare. So it's just, you know, we could have. It was crazy. So we could have definitely, you know, either, you know, said, just F it, we'll just wait until COVID is done. or, you know, I'm not, I'm a person who just never gives up, which again, depending on which side of the coin you are, may or may not work for you. But it's just one of the things that I'm going to find a solution to it. And, you know, I'm thankful because now we have a list of suppliers of two or three different suppliers for different products that, you know, we can, okay, they're sold out, we can go here. Okay, they're sold out, we can go here. And it's just really going with the flow. Like, you know, the whole thing with the body wash and stuff like that, and our supplier with that is just kind of like, okay, breathe. What are we gonna do? Right. Opposed to just like, okay, they don't have the body wash. How they not like? Because COVID, it's like, none of us have, unless we were in 1929 or whenever Spanish flu was, none of us have ever dealt with it.
We've never experienced it, and also I would say that for us, it's been, you know, our online sales have been doing really well. And our shipping, the shipping is like, I'm on online right now trying to find like petitions to try to help the post office because we're a small business and we cannot afford for the post office to go under. Right. Okay. No matter if they are taking 5 days to bring something that's down the street. It's absolutely insane to me, but that's how, you know, like we got to figure it out. Like all of us collectively as small businesses, we need to figure out how to back up the post office because the government isn't doing it. So we gotta, like, the post office can't go anywhere. Like, I feel like they go everywhere, you know. So that's another thing that's been really kind of like frustrating for us.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. On my side of the fence, you know, for the people that do support the blog and they buy the merch, and it's like like, it sucks because usually I can have things out so quickly, but it's like I literally have to just wait on the supplier. Like, we have no choice but to wait, but I'm in full support. And I feel like as soon as the smaller people start to find a way to like make the best out of the situation, and it turns all of a sudden now there's issues with this, there's issues, like, come on. You know, how does America have a shortage of masks? What? That's crazy. Like, so many like different things, but I'm happy you guys are finding a great way to just maneuver and remain positive and to make more sales, because that is like, at the end of the day, the bottom line.
It's our blessing. You know, we can't for all of these like things that are coming up, we can't say like, oh my God, like this is, you know, we're making sales. Like, we're way, you know, from our first year to the second year now, it's like night and day.
It's like night and day. It's like we didn't really, you know, I think we went in with a plan where, well, we didn't go in with a plan. We went in with like an overall, like, oh yeah, this is gonna do this, and then now we're like looking like, oh, like
we can do really
well. Like, you know, we're really looking forward to paying 2 of our bills at the end of the summer. So it's just kind of like, and again, it's just one of those things too, where yes, for me, when I have something negative, my first inclination is to fight. And it's just like, you know, if anything negative comes up, like I can't fight negative with negative because it's not gonna, it's just like if you have a problem and you call, you know, whatever company and they're, you know, saying, well, that's your problem, then you're both going at it. But, you know, but even today when I was dealing with, you know, IRS, which is a whole nother story, you know, I was telling ladies like, look, I know this is not you. I know this is your job, but please put yourself in my situation and understand that this is a problem. And if you can't fix it, that's not a problem, but send me to somebody who can. And I really approach things like that because at the end of the day, I just want the problem solved. I don't really care, you know, life happens, stuff is going to happen, but it's just like, how are you going to solve it? And then in my impatient case, I want to solve it right now. So if the bottles are not there, then I need to find another company ASAP to find, you know, they can do it. And how fast can you do it? And is it the same standard as the one that we have? And it's just kind of like, just really the problem solving part of it. So, you know, as far as negative, I mean, yeah, if it doesn't get to the person, then we'll just reship it. And I really just hope, and we haven't had problems like that where the person's just completely disappointed that we know of. But, you know, if somebody hits us up and it's like, yeah, it hasn't got there, then, you know, we'll reship it. Or it got here melted, even though we pack it full of ice, which is a whole other issue. If it got there melted, then we're going to send it through FedEx and make sure it gets there in a day. And we'll eat that shipping cost to make sure that you're happy, because at the end of the day, Center In is about the happiness of others. And, you know, when you guys are happy, then that makes us happy, because then you're going to continue purchasing the products.
I love your guys' dedication, and I'm looking to support, so you guys look out for my order. Look out for my order. I'm excited. You know, my feet are looking very rough from COVID.
I think all of ours are.
I'm gonna need that scrub, but it is one of the things I've been trying to self-teach myself, even though it's never looking as good as a salon, but I'm trying.
Never, right?
Yeah, very true. But I'm like scared to go to the salons. Like I know. It's like a commitment. Like I was going to like my nail lady like every 2 or 3 weeks and my eyelash lady once a month, and it's like I don't really want to commit to you right now because I don't know if we're gonna break up again.
Right.
So it's just like it's really.
We've been broken up for 4 months.
Yeah.
And you came back for 2 weeks and now you're gone again.
Yeah, it's like a very bad ex-boyfriend that you don't want to see again. So it's just kind of one of those things where, again, you kind of learn, and then you like for instance, like I'm not wearing makeup, and usually for every interview I always wear makeup, and it's just one of those things where I've gotten so used to not wearing makeup and also wearing beat up t-shirts that it's just one of those things where it's just like this is what
Listen.
This is what's happening right now, and you know, thankfully Nesha, you know, because we spend almost every day together, I don't have to wear a mask, so she does my facials. So thankfully, at the facials, the skincare, that you know, I look half decent. Yeah. But you know, as far as like,
and you don't need the lashes anymore because I just gave her a lash list.
Give me a lash list, you know. But I still kind of look at like, oh my gosh, Meg Thee Stallion. It's like I want some long lashes again, but you know, it's just one of those things. You just adjust, and if your feet are really rough, get those little petty eggs. Like you can do the scrub and then the little petty eggs are lifesavers. But the toenails, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
Honestly, I feel like I love the fact of like even myself, I've embraced as natural as can be. Like most of the interviews, if you guys even look back, I haven't been wearing any makeup or anything because like I was saying to someone the other day, you know, my nieces, I don't have children of my own, but my nieces are getting older and they're, you know, they're starting to watch Auntie getting ready and they're getting to that like teenager, young adult stage. And it's just kind of like, I don't want to be that person that's telling them you have to like plaster your face with makeup in order to look beautiful. And to be honest, everywhere, like I'm looking at your guys' skin, it's flawless, it's beautiful. People always tell me my skin is beautiful. And I mean, like, if we can't be comfortable with looking at ourselves as now, how we look in the mirror, then like, I feel like everything else should be just an enhancement, not altering, right? So kudos to you guys. Keep it up. You look gorgeous. I love
thank you.
all the
You
women.
too.
I feel like as long as the eyebrows is a little bit neat up, we're
good. That's it.
I mean, my eyebrows were kind of struggling. I had to like trim them the other day. It's like, oh, how did it? I didn't even like. It's just. I
just got new wax. You can get wax.
Okay, we'll get my eyebrows waxed. So it's just a different. It's a different time. And then on top of that too, like we said before, the business is growing so much that like that's what I spend my time on. Like I'm researching other, like Nesha's researching different products and different ingredients and stuff, and I'm looking at other companies and seeing, okay, well, how can we do this, or how we can add this to the site, or you know, what we are going to be adding is Nesha's going to be doing skin consultations online. You know, so you know, if you're like you have some issues with your skin but you're quarantined, you know, she can give you some products, not just our products, but products in general that will benefit you. So we're looking at adding that to the website. So all these little elements, like I've really been spending time on that because, frankly, like, you know, I don't want to work for the man anymore, and I also want to be able to afford healthcare, which is not cheap here.
That part, that is the best part right there.
That's the part where I miss Toronto. I'm like, where's the OHIP at? Like, why are people paying? What's this co-payment? It's so weird. So it's just kind of, I really believe in this company, and even acknowledging that it might be a different version in 5 years, but it's just kind of like something that we're both gonna like learn from and grow from, but then we can also benefit from as well. And you know, that's kind of the game plan. That's just kind of like, you know, if you guys love it, then we love supporting you, but we also want to give the best of us and the best ideas possible.
And see, that's exactly why if you see Junkie Boutiques, shout outs to you, their comment and saying that natural beauty is making a comeback, right? And that is exactly why I feel like companies like yours will win and are going to win, because we're at home, we're looking at YouTube, we're interested more, like you said, if you're at the 4th or the 5th item, by that moment, if I'm not understanding or having to Google what it is, like I don't want it, you know? So I'm learning to put the egg white and the avocado into my hair. I'm using the rice water. Yeah, and it's been working. So it's like, I'm looking at it like, wow, Pantene, what have you been doing
Right.
Things like that, you know. But I'm very proud of you guys, and I want to ask you guys before we depart today is is there anything that you'd like to share with anyone like watching in the future or now? What are things that you'd like us to remember when it comes to Center In, and be sure to let everyone know where to find you guys?
Okay, so first off, we want to thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Because today was very crazy for me.
Yeah.
And I know if I were an interviewer, I'd be very frustrated. So I've been in your position. So thank you for understanding, because it's like, oh, I put it all in the message because that's what you're supposed to do. It's like, no, I didn't. I really read like the first sentence. So really want to thank you for your patience, one. And then also for dealing with airplanes and cars and men trying to be light in the building.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, never mind. But you know, we really want to thank you guys. I thank you guys for like watch the broadcast, because it's just kind of like there's a whole situation going on right now. So first off, it's like thank you and forgive us. Yeah. So it's not that crazy.
It was no issues. Like, trust me, I completely like understand. It's Monday. Okay. Like it's Monday.
It's Monday. Yeah.
Okay. It's Monday.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like, you know, like I said, for the folks who are watching, for the folks who bought our products, we really, like I said before, really appreciate you, because without you guys, we wouldn't be, you know, where we are right now. And then for, you know, folks who are interested in like trying our products and stuff like that, we are on so you can go to Center In Company on Twitter, on Instagram, all that stuff, and you can hit us up on the DM and we will respond. So if you have any questions or if you want to try samples, we will mail out samples, because I definitely know it's like if you don't know the people, but you kind of looks good, you kind of don't want to commit that money and stuff like that, you just have to hit us up and we're definitely willing to talk and stuff like that. So if you want to try any products, just let us know. But also know that we are doing everything. Thanks, Red. He bought the big template and he bought the yeah. It's again, like even our beard oil, and we also have hair oil, is made of Jamaican castor oil and not like a watered down version. It's like, you know, we have straight from Jamaica, where, you know, in my mind, Nisha's fiance's aunt is like there churning it with the head tie. Like that's what's happening in my mind. I don't know if that's really happening, but it's like all authentic, like, you know, she's in the long skirt, no shoes on. That's what's happening in my mind. So like everything is very, very like pure, like even down to like the cocoa butter. Like they're in Ghana, like picking the, like that's what's happening. Right. So all our products are natural, and it's like that's one of the reasons why, you know, the shelf life is shorter. That's one of the reasons why it melts, like, you know, during the summer and stuff like that. So we want to keep it very, like, it's not one of those things where, like, you know, you use the word organic and it's like 5% organic. Everything is super natural. It's all natural, and we see everything that goes in the product because it's homemade. So we wanted to really kind of hit that home. And, you know, some people that's not as important. It's like, you know, some people are vegetarian, some people are vegan. It just kind of depends. But the overall feeling of it, and, you know, that's the goal. And we also understand that not everybody can afford it, but we're definitely trying to cater to everybody to get that feeling. Yeah. You know, so if you
people know, like castor oil itself, the real Jamaican, it's expensive, especially when you're not in Jamaica. Like you're looking at probably like what, $15 about sure. So come on, people, when you go to Gucci, you're not asking them for a discount.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thankfully, like I was that person. So I'm not even gonna lie. I was that person that like, oh, you have business, why don't you give me a discount? And then I learned, like, you know, I learned maybe over the last, you know, 6 or 7 years that it's just like, you know, this is a business. Right. And, you know, it's for every discount. And mind you, I have been giving discounts, but people weren't asking. I was giving discounts because it's like, look, you know, I appreciate your support, and if you could, like, you're continuing supporting, here's a discount. But it's one of the it all goes back in the business. Like we didn't get out of the red until literally the beginning of COVID. So like we were like we put in our own money. We don't have any backers. We didn't have any loans. We don't have any grants, any of that stuff. We started with our own money. So every time we made a sale, it was going back into the business. So it's just really like realizing that, you know, the price point and all this other stuff is there's a reason for it. It's not like us like, you know, oh, well, they're charging this for cocoa butter, so they must be living in this fantabulous house and driving these cars. It's not the case. No. Trust me, I want it to be the case, and I hope it'll be the case one day, but it's not the case right now. And, you know, it's just like it's the building blocks, but we want to, the goal is for it to be the best product that it could be, so that you enjoy it, and then therefore we enjoy that you're enjoying it, and then, you know, our bank account enjoys it too.
Yeah. Also,
I-
all of our products come in reusable, recyclable jars.
Yeah.
So if you purchase something and you send the jar back, we'll give you a discount and send you for a new product.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we were really excited about. I mean, even if you don't like send the jar back, use the jar. It's a beautiful jar. You can put it, turn it into a vase. You can turn it into anything.
You
like
I'm creative. And stuff like that.
I'm creative. So I'm turning it into a flower pot. Like, you know what I mean? So.
And even in the long run, like say if you like, you know, you're in Canada and you're like, I'm not sending a jar back, but then you buy 5 products and then you send the 5 jars back, then you get like another product pretty much for free. Pretty much. Like I had one girl, I met her. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, I'm forgetting it. But anyways, I was speaking at an event. And she bought, I think, 6 products. And then she's like, oh, I need to re-up. And then I met her and she had all 6 jars. I'm like, all right, cool. And I gave her discount. So it's just like, and you know, it's a double-edged sword, meaning that we appreciate you not throwing out the glass, but then we're going to sterilize it, wash it out a couple of times, and then reuse it because that's what glass is like made for. That's why we do use glass. We don't use like plastic bottles, because another thing about that, well, we do use plastic bottles for the body wash. There's that thing, because if you drop it in the shower, it's just not good.
But
not good.
We made a decision about that. We're like, clumsy people. No.
But glass for everything else, it's just it's way more environmentally safe. And then you also think about too the plastic kind of going into the product.
Right.
So it's one of those things where, you know, if you have the cocoa butter for 4 weeks or however, you're not, you know, it's just the cocoa butter. It's not the cocoa butter plus, you know, whatever hints of plastic and all that stuff. So, you know, that was a reason why we went with that, with a glass jar versus a plastic one.
I thought you guys literally thought every single like detail, and I love that. And that I hope people will connect with is much more than just products. And I'm a huge, like, trust me, I invest when it comes to my skin. I invest. So if it's something where it can be natural as opposed to me using like the Dermalogica or Drunk Elephant products, why not? Why not? Right?
Yeah. And to be honest too, you don't know how those products, and it's not to knock any of them. Some of them might be great, but we don't know how those products are going to affect our skin in 20 or 30 years, because they're all new products within the last 15 years. So if you started using a certain product, you know, when you were 25 and then you used it for, you know, 15 years, the same product, that might be a buildup of whatever 6th or 7th ingredient was in there into, you know, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen, but into something that could have turned on a switch disease-wise.
Right.
So it's just kind of like we want to really alleviate, because we're already, like Nesha was saying, we're already dealing with pollution. We're already dealing with essentially, you know, our government's, not as much as Canada, so shout out to Canada, but, you know, our government's kind of like poisoning us food-wise. And we can't control that stuff unless we're growing in our backyard. But even that, like, I don't even go into the rabbit hole of that. But it's, oh yeah, she's growing.
I got a Scotch bonnet tree right here.
Love it. Oh my
So
God. This is my first time seeing a Scotch bonnet tree.
Yeah.
She's like growing everything.
That's how it grows.
On the balcony. But it's like not everybody
love to garden.
That's
I would take you through my garden right now. I love that.
Yeah.
That's y'all.
Grow those things over here. It won't last.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's y'all. See, I'm not doing that. So the most I could do is get a natural product.
Get with it. I cut my onion. I cut the root. I plant it. I have my celery growing. I have my thyme growing. Because listen,
I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And like when Nesha gets her house and she does it, I'll just go over to her house. Like it's just one of those things that not everybody can do everything. And that's just like I definitely believe in the garden. Like I believe in it. I definitely like want to eat fresh vegetables and fruits and stuff like that.
Right.
But me physically going into the garden and just one afternoon, it's just not happening. Like it's not, I can't even see myself as an old lady doing that. It's just one of those things that
buy the seeds and the gardening supplies for Nesha and she'll take care of the rest, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's like that's why I can't wait until she gets her house, because like, all right, cool. Then I could come over every night. Like get her house and we get the business to the point where we don't have to like work, like we're working on the business. To the point where I can just come over and eat because she's always cooking. Like it's just one of those things. And then just like, well, we're business partners. So that's where I'm like, it's a win-win situation.
Right.
So that's my envision. That's my goal. That is my hope. You know, for the rest of 2020 and 2021.
I'm wishing the same for you guys, and I am wishing you guys nothing but success and prosperity. I want TK to eat her belly full, and I want Nisha to have everything she needs to get TK's belly full.
Right?
But flat. Full and flat. That's
Right.
Why can't we get both, right?
Right. Why don't we get both? We can get both.
Well, ladies, I want to ask just one more question. This is my first time kind of asking a business, but let's give it a shot. So I do have a question. This is another staple question here that we do ask at Downtown. So we do have the 4 elements. You have earth, water, wind, and fire. And we like to know, we'll just say center in then, since it's not focused on an individual. What element do you feel like most represents center in, and why?
Oh.
That's a good one.
Okay, so for me, when I think of the company, ideally in like a utopian world, it's definitely like water.
Ah, that's what I was thinking.
Right?
Yeah.
That's here. Actually, that's here. What it is. So it's what the company itself by itself as its own entity is definitely water. Sure. Like that's the goal. But the behind the company, I'm definitely not water.
Yeah.
So like
she's like fire and I'm water.
Yeah. So that's definitely because I was thinking of that. It's like I want to say water, but I'm definitely not flowing like water.
Yeah, she's not water, but I'm water, and then the company as a whole is water.
That's what I strive for. That I know I'll probably never achieve because I'm just like too anal and too like overthinking.
I love that. And that's needed, right?
Yeah.
Right, Nisha? You agree?
Yeah.
You need someone like her in your corner so that,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, water, we just go with the flow. So we need somebody to put a little fire under our butt.
I call at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, I have this idea, so let's do this. And she doesn't answer the phone, and then she does at 7 in the morning. That's what happens.
No, I definitely, I appreciate her a lot. I just don't tell her, but I appreciate her a lot, for sure.
So you would say you're water, she's fire. You guys are perfectly just cooling and calming each other down and keeping it.
And don't get it wrong. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm sure that I get on her nerves with like 70 text messages sometimes, and sometimes she gets on my nerves because like, yo, we got a sale and we need to make the sale like now, and she's not like, she's just water. So I'm like, don't get it twisted. It's not like that, but we're also adults, and we also have a mutual respect for each other, and we're also brought up by West Indian parents. Meaning that, like, it's never going to be, a Housewives of Atlanta situation. It's never going to be that.
Exactly.
So, with all those elements, like, just don't get it twisted. Like, oh, it's a kumbaya thing. I think there's a lot of moments where she's like, so, yeah, and vice versa. But,
I light a candle.
She lights a candle. So, but, again, you go with it, and you
Which
realize.
Candle, Misha? Which candle are you lighting?
Right now, Calm is one of my favorites. That one's a good one. I like Calm.
I love it. I love it. I'm about Calm.
Yeah, Calm
in my life.
Calm is.
And then again, it's like one of those things where it's just like there's only so much you could do because it's like I'm not willing to go there. I don't want to. I will, but I'm not willing to go make the candles and cocoa butter and stuff. It's the yin and yang part. So when it gets done, it gets done. So like we just go with the flow.
Right.
I wish you guys generations and generations of success.
Thank
Seriously.
You so much.
I love the fact that we have 2 beautiful Black women. No, it's not about race, but I am Black, and I am going to love on them and appreciate them and let you guys know you're doing something wonderful, and don't stop. Don't give up.
Thank you so much.
I want to just say keep in contact, and I will be sure to save this live, and the article should be out in about 48, 72 hours. And I want to say thank you again. I know I said thank you already, but I want to remind you guys and everyone watching, don't waste no time with negativity. Support TK and Nisha. We did it through TK's profile today, but you guys make sure to click the top left at the username right now that you see. Click her Linktree link, and it will give you a link to her profile. Sorry, my motor skills are going, but I'm here. And individually, I believe Nisha's username is
Nisha_143.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, so you can go to centerincompany.com for the company, Center and Company for IG and Twitter. My IG, if they're watching, is at TK Trinidad. It's TK Trinidad everywhere. I have a website. And then as well, Nesha does do facials too. So you can go to Nesha, at Nesha_143. And then what's your skincare one?
Skincare by Nesha.
Yeah, and that's also on the website as well. So it's all kind of there.
Yeah.
Yes, so thank you again, ladies, for tuning in. And I'm reminding, thank you, and have a great week. And remember, don't waste no time with negativity.
For sure.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Bye.